And coming up to mains examination, we have general studies papers and then we have an optional. There are some new additions to general studies papers like ethics, which is not something like academically structured course and you read it and you give it. There is something you need to apply by yourself. So what kind of approach and mindset the aspirant need to have to answer questions in that segment?
Frankly, I teach ethics, and ethics I think is a very interesting area. If you are a little flexible and very rational, you need to be, if I have to put it in one word, we need people with common sense to understand ethics. You don't need rocket science, you don't need great intelligence. It is simple common sense that makes ethics very easy. And most importantly, along with common sense, you need the flexibility to accept the other point of view. So this is what you require for ethics. Ethics is very easy and it is very scoring as well. When you are able to understand the basic terminology, like they ask, we all talk about, even without thinking, we say attitude is everything. You need to have the right kind of aptitude, but we never sit down to understand what is attitude, what is aptitude, in what context do you use it. This subject teaches you all that. It teaches you the meaning of what is morals, what is values. They say, my values don't allow me to do this, but what do you mean by a value? My ethical base is not like that, but what is ethics according to you? He's very immoral. What do you mean by immorality? So all these things the ethics paper teaches you. It is all simple words that we use in our day-to-day lives without thinking. Ethics makes you to think and understand what they mean, and ethics gives you a scope to quote a lot of day-to-day examples. Like in COVID times, we have seen some phenomenal Good Samaritan work by commoners as well as officers. We have seen some deteriorating conditions. So, both of these will be used to understand ethics from a very practical sense. This also comes as a part of ethics. So, ethics is a subject which is interesting because it is related to your day to day life, which is related to your the words that you use in your day-to-day life, and you have to understand the happenings around. Now, how do you approach ethics? First, read the syllabus carefully, identify the key words in the syllabus. As I said, morality will be there, emotional intelligence is there, values is there. We talk about probity, we talk about good governance, corporate governance, work culture. First, define all these words. What do you mean by all these words? Then you start collecting the characteristics of these words. For example, you talk about political attitude, you talk about social attitude. So, what is social attitude? What is political attitude? What are the parameters, differences between these terms? Then you try to relate. When I read something in the newspaper, I have to relate it to an ethical perspective. I can recollect an example of a northeast boy who ran over a chicken in a hen in front of his house, and he took the hen and went running to the hospital, begging, pleading the doctor to save the hen with all the pocket money he had. This is a very funny incident, but if you look at it from an ethical perspective, it actually talks volumes about the upbringing of the child.
Correct.
Because when you today in today's world, you hit a human being and he's dying on the road, nobody bothers. But that boy was so concerned about a hen which he ran over accidentally by his bicycle. This talks volumes about his value system. And you have a topic called role of family in inculcating values in individuals. So this is where you quote this as an example. That is how you have to integrate examples into your ethics paper. It is not philosophy. It is simple common sense, rationality, and an eye for detail to what is happening around you from a very moral ground. You're not judging it from what a legal aspect. You're judging it from a moral ground of what is right and what is wrong. That is what is required for ethics.
I think this will prepare the aspirant to be a good administrator.
That's the reason why it has been, it increases empathy in you. In fact, the entire syllabus is like that. You have an area called society and social justice where we teach about problems faced by different sections of society like women, children, homosexuals, senior citizens. I mean, that area when you teach, when you talk about the causes of a problem, what kind of policies the government is making, how effective are these policies, it gives a very good insight into the social ethos of our country. I mean, it actually changes your perception completely towards that problem. That is the reason why we say that if you prepare for civil services, you crack it or not, but you become a very informed citizen. All this information will definitely make you a better person.